Page 3A is going to be pretty simple. We're going to have a flap on the right, not a full page, just a flap on the right and a pocket on the left, a side pocket. So from one piece of cardstock, cut out a 7 by 8.5. Put your 8.5 in at the top and score. No, I'm sorry, wrong. Put your 7 at the top and score at 1/2 inch. Good thing I looked over at my notes. So that's the flap. So it's going to be the height of the page. It'll end up being 7 inches wide. And in the pocket, cut out a piece that is 3.5 by 9.5. So you're going to score on 1/2 inch on 3 sides. So put the 9.5 in at the top, score at 1/2 inch, turn, score at 1/2 inch, turn, and another 1/2 inch score. And that's the pocket. And then miter the corners the way you like to miter them. Sometimes I do a square, sometimes I do the angle cross. See how the angle works for me on this one. Sometimes I just don't quite get them right. That one works good. There we go. Okay. Move the scoreboard out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and burnish those score lines really well on this pocket here. Now the pocket is what I'm going to use the leftover papers from the chessboard paper to make it match the other side. Then I need to decide what I want on this. But we can go ahead and put this in the book page if we want to. So grab your page 3. Remember opening to the side. So the pocket is going to sit right here with the flap here, and then I'll figure out my closure piece that I want to do. So I'll go ahead and put this on. Glue on the 1/2 inch attachment hinge. Make sure it's opening here. Line this up, the fold of the flap along the edge of the page. And I'm going to clean up that glue because I don't want it to glue my pocket sleeve shut. And I just need to make sure I'm on straight. There we go. Finish that down. Overhanging just a tad maybe over there. I may need to trim some of it off. I think I'll cut it maybe a little bit wrong and burnish this. Make sure I have it glued here. I'm going to get my trimmer. Let's see. I think this is cut maybe a little crooked here. Going to take off just the tiniest bit to see if that straightens it up some. Oh, I did it on the wrong side, didn't I? Or did I? This part right here. Just a little bit sliced off there because it was hanging over just a little bit. Let's straighten that up. Okay, so we've got it now, I believe. Okay, so it looks okay now. Okay, so the pocket, open this up, the pocket's going to fit right here. So I'm going to go ahead and attach this bottom one first. Just glue on that 1/2 inch. Line it up. The side edge, the fold going to the outer edge, and then of course the bottom and the top. And burnish that. And then glue on the rest of it. If you wanted to put your pattern paper in first, you can. If you're trying to conserve, you don't have to pattern all the way to the inside of this pocket. So you can just cut it to go partially in if you want, because you can't see down in there anyway. Okay, so now there's that. We got the sleeves opening on the left and the right. So I'm going to decide on my paper and a closure. I've gone ahead and added the mats and pattern paper to this page because the closure is going to go on the outside. So here on the front flap, I did mat with the craft cardstock to match the other page that it's going to be across from. So that mat is 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. I think, let me see. Yeah. And the pattern paper from a 12 by 12 is 6 by 8. And then when you open it up, this side in here, there's no matting. It's just the pattern paper, 6 1/4 by 8 1/4. 8 1/4 tall on this in here, and it was the leftover from this, so it is only 5. Let's see, 5 3/4, whatever's left from this cut. And then the pocket is the craft, which is 2 and just a little under 2 7/8 by the 8 1/4. And then we have the pattern piece that is what I had left over from a scrap, 2 1/2 by 8. So there's the pocket there. We have the flap, lots of nice space for photos. So this closes, and of course I want a flap or closure. So I decided to make the closure out of cardstock, make it a slider. So to do that, I've already scored mine, but I will give you show you so that you can see how I did it. You need one piece that is 5 inches by 1 3/4, and I scored the 5-inch side at a 1/2 inch. Hold that. The next piece is 1 3/4 by 2 1/4, and I scored the 2 1/4 side at a 1/2 inch. Then the slider piece, I cut that to fit this cut apart tag from the 8 by 8. It is 3 by 2 and 5/8. So I cut it so it would fit that exactly. And on the 3-inch side, we're going to score at a 1/2 inch and a 2 1/2. Okay, so that's what we need to make this closure. And then I went ahead and cut my pattern pieces out of scrap of this. And this one for the bigger piece is 4 1/4 by 1 1/2, and the smaller piece is 1 1/2 by 1 1/2. And then of course this one is, like I said, was a cut apart or tag out of the 8 by 8 collection. So it is, when I cut it down, was 2 5/8 by almost 2 inches. So we got that. So let's put this together real quick. Sliders are fun to make. So I'm going to start with the short side first. Let's go ahead and put the pattern paper on to make sure it's going the way I want it to. Kind of wanted it to match up. It may not. Oh, there it goes. So it's that way. I'm gonna put my glue on. Got a new, refilled my glue. So, whoop. Oh, that's a mess. So it's a lot of glue coming out now. How did I have that way? So I've really got to clean that up. So I'm not matting this with anything. I'm just putting it right onto the black. Just kind of center that. Clean up all my mess. Burnish that down. And then go ahead and do this one. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this cut apart here with the scary spider on a chessboard. It's cute. I think that one's really cute. And it's fold under your 1/2 inch score lines, and so it fits just like that right in there. Okay, finish that so it sticks good. Now then, let's assemble. Let's put this one on first. So I think it's good to go over here. We want all of it on this section over here. So just glue on your 1/2 inch and put the fold towards this side here. And put it right along where the pattern paper meets up to the craft. So that there's clearance right there. It's not hanging over that. And then I will probably add pattern paper on this also off camera. But anyway, this is going to line up here. So I need a piece for this. I forgot to cut another piece. So let me grab, I have this green scrap here. I'm just going to use this. So I need a piece that is just under 2 inches by the 2 5/8. 2 5/8. 2 5/8. I'm going to make it under a little bit so it don't stick out. And just under 2 inches. So this is a backing. Forgot to cut that. Okay, the backing. Let's see if it works. Okay. So yeah, glue on the 1/2 inch pieces. This kind of sticks out just a little bit here. I'm just going to trim a little bit off. Straightening it up. Okay, so glue this down over the hinge pieces. Line it up. If any of it sticks out, I will just trim that off. Okay, so that's like that. Hopefully it will fit on there. So this should slide in. Yep. Whoops, upside down. Want him to go like that. We don't want an upside down spider. So this is going to overlap and slide that other piece in there. So you just have to work it like that. And then this is going to touch down on this side. So once you got it on there, put your glue on the 1/2 inch of the back piece. And then we're going to slide this end where we want it. About right there. So there's about 3/4 of an inch of this bigger one over sticking over on the left side. So go ahead and burnish that down. Keep and it's straight as possible. And burnish, and I'm going to go ahead and let that dry for just a bit. Okay, so there it is. I went ahead and put pattern paper on the back just out of scraps. I grabbed some of this, cut the same size as you did the front, 3/8 wide, same height here, just whatever scraps I had. I probably should have done this piece in the black cardstock instead of green, but I'm okay with it. You can't really see that much of it, and then I put a piece of this paper over it. So this just closes up like that. Easy peasy. Don't have to use magnets or anything. It's a really cute element there for this. Just slide it, open it up, and you've got your pocket here. I'll probably make some tags or something for that to close that up. I mean, to put in there and have more photos. So I love how that turned out. So next I'm ready to move on to page 3B on the back side. So now we're ready to make a element for the back side of page 3. So this is page 3B. And here's a tip so that your closure piece doesn't slide off until you have this on the hinge. Then you can decide which way you want to go. Put the longer one down, the right one down first, then your left one. Slide this over and it won't go past the hinge here on the side. Because if you have it the other way, when you turn this over, your piece is going to fall off. So we got this one. Make sure the direction's correct. So this is that side. So let's set that aside and do our scoring. Where to cut my pieces, so you'll need to cut yours, and I'll give you the measurements here, and of course they're in the cutting list. So you need one that is 6.5 by 6, and we're going to put the 6.5 in at the top. We're going to score at 1/2 inch. Now I have seen this done in several different videos. It's a pop-up, I call it a pop-out page. Different people. I've done it once for a personal book of mine that I gave away, but I've never done a tutorial or shown it on video. So because I usually have to do it 2 or 3 times to get it done, to get my brain going the right direction. So hopefully I can show you how to do it. So then you need one 6 by 6 to go with that. No scoring. We need 2 pieces that are 7 by 1.5. So you put your 1.5 in at the top and score at 1/2 inch on both pieces. Now do it, score really, really well because we want these to fold. So I'm going to score it twice at least. Get that fold line in there. So that's our pop out element. And then we have 2 pieces that will be for our what's popping out. 2 of these that are 4 3/4 by 3.5. No scoring on that. And then from scraps, I cut a piece that is, so what is this one? 4 3/4 by 4. I'm going to score my 4-inch side at 1/2 inch. So set that aside. And then this one is a 5.5 by 3 3/4. And I'm going to score the 5.5 inch side at 1/2 inch. Set that one aside. These are just add-ons. And then we want to close your piece. We have a 3 by 4. We're going to score the 4-inch at the top at 1/2 inch. So that's our closure piece to keep everything closed in. So let's see if we can do this. The first part is real easy. It's just making our back piece of our pop-up. Burnish that hinge really well with the 6 by 6 so they glue together like that. And we don't put them on the page yet. They go on the page after we put pattern paper down on the page. So put your glue on your 1/2 inch right here and glue these 2 together. Just line them up nice and straight at the top. Don't go over the fold, but Just go ahead and get them on nice and straight. Burnish that down. Make sure they're lined up side to side. Open it up and burnish. There we go. So that's the back side there. Okay. Now then, we're ready. I'm going to move these out of the way because we already got them cut and scored. Grab our 2 long pieces. And we're going to mark on these and score them without the scoreboard. We'll need a ruler. A metal ruler works best if you have that. You need your pencil. Okay, so you see your 1/2 inch line right here. We're going to mark down 1 inch on the score line. Line this up. 1 inch. On each one at the score line. Okay, then on this wide part over here, do a 2 inch tick mark right there. And a 2 inch over here. So that's in the wide section, in that 1 inch section there. Okay, now we're going to take our ruler and we're going to score from this tick mark here to the one on the score line. Really press down if you can. Like that. Can you see that? Okay. And then we're going to do it on the other one the same. From each tick mark to the other. Okay. Then we're going to score from the corner here, the right corner, all the way across where the center of the score line tick mark is, just all the way across, just like that. So we have this triangle look, and I'm going to fold it up so we can see it. Okay, fold that one up. So we got that line there and that line. So this one we need to do also from the corner, line up the tick mark and go all the way across the whole piece. And then I'm going to fold that. Oops, I didn't quite get it on the point. So make sure if you didn't to redo that. We want it from the point across the tick mark. Good way to do that, I find, is if you can just line up this angle. Line up this edge here where I messed it up. And if I don't get it right, I will cut a new piece, but I'm lining up this edge so that there's a point definite there. And I'll show you because I had my score line wrong. So if you line it up so it's like that, let me see how well I did this one. I got this one off too. Didn't do it right. It's got to go to the point. Line up like that. So sometimes instead of scoring, just folding it works. So line up. So there we have that nice point right there. And they should be the same. Okay. Now let's open it back up. And I'm going to take my pencil so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm cutting away this 1/2 inch to this angle here. 1/2 inch to that angle. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just cutting at this angle to the tick mark on the score line. and then cutting away that 1/2 inch just to that score line. Oops. Okay, like that. So cut this away. Same on this one. Cutting on that angle score line up to the straight 1/2 inch score line to that tick mark, and then up the score line. Okay, so we can go ahead and erase any pencil marks we might have. We don't want them showing. This one I need to clean up just a smidge. Okay, so let's hold them up and see how they look together. Okay, looks pretty good. All right, so fold this and burnish. Go both directions. We want a good bend on this, back and forth. And we also do it here on this one, this other score line that we have. And I see there I need to clean that up a little bit. So I do it back and forth, kind of like that. And then we also want to do the 1/2 inch, back and forth. Okay, same way with this one. Make sure we get this other angle here. Clean up anything you might have sticking over. And then the 1/2 inch, long 1/2 inch one. So far, I don't think I've made any mistake. The next, the gluing down is where I kind of get myself messed up. Okay, so now we have those where we've scored them and burnished them. So this one I'm going to fold this away and this one this away, just like this. So I have the fold right here and the fold right here, and then it's going to go opposites. So there, I almost messed up there. The folds go towards the center, just like that. Keep having to trim that one a little bit. So the folds, with it facing up like this is the 1/2 inches on the back. Flip it. These are still opened up here. Flip it so that the fold goes to the center, and this is what's going to go into our page right now. So this is really important. We are not gluing the 1/2 inch to the edge. This is wrong. You're gluing the 1/2 inch only, but you're lining up the 1 inch edge. So you want a 1 inch space. So when this flips up, this 1/2 inch is a 1/2 inch from the side. So you got it like this. Turn it over, put glue just on your 1/2 inch. Not too heavy, but just enough to hold it down good. Flip it over. The fold is here. Fold's right here. Line it up down here at the bottom on the corner, 1 inch all the way across. The point should land right there in that fold. Burnish that down. So there's where your 1/2 inch ends. There's your spacing in there. The 1" from the fold over is what's your space. Same here. We got it like this. The fold is this way. I'm going to turn it over, putting my glue on just the ½ flipping it so that the fold is here. Line up the 1" to the outer edge, press it down, make sure it goes to the bottom down here, and the point of your fold hits right there on that page fold. Burnish, open it up, burnish. Okay, so now we have it that way. We're going to let it dry. Okay, so once we have them on here, like this, we're going to open them to the inside. So you can see your ½ here, you got your 1" here. Okay, we're going to fold this angle here. Fold this one here. So you've got like your pencil shape here, and you've got a triangle here, a little triangle. Let me hold it up so you can see. Okay, you open it up like this. Fold them both down on that angle. So you see your pencil points. You've got a little triangle here and a little triangle here. That's where the glue goes, just on that little triangle. And I even wipe some of it out if I get too much with my thumb. Glue on just that top triangle only. No glue anywhere else. Now, with it laying like that, close it up, press down, burnish those corners, and let it dry. Now, I see mine's kind of sticking out here where I had to do some adjusting, so I just trim that little tiny bit off. So let this dry. You don't want to open it until it's completely dry. Okay, so open it up, and you see it pops up looking like that. Okay, now we're going to flatten it down again. Take our 2 pieces that are the same size. These are the 3½ by 4 3/4, and they're going to glue here on these wings like this. Okay, so the edge of this one, the left edge of this one, goes along the fold of the 1" and down to the bottom. So I'm just going to put glue from here down. Make sure it doesn't go out. So I stay away from the edge if I can, especially towards the center. Put my glue down, line it up from the bottom and just a hair away from the fold. And I've got too much glue up there at the top, so I'll just wipe that off. Burnish that. Kind of lift and make sure there's not any underneath, but I just want to make sure that's burnished. Okay, same way here. So I'm just going to lay this so I can see where the glue should go right here. Whoops. Okay, down the edge, across the bottom, and about a 1/16 of an inch from the fold, back and forth. Now then we line it up, the right cut edge to the fold of the 1" all the way to the bottom. Burnish it. Press out that glue if there's any excess. Make sure there's not any underneath to get held up. And so that goes in and down. So they fold over each other and then they just pop up. This one over here, I kind of don't have it popping quite as well as I want, but it still will work. There we go. Now then, these two, fold these score lines. I thought it would be fun to have these at the top like this. And I'm going to take it all the way up to the top. I'm going to put glue on this one. This is the one that goes up and down more. I'm going to flatten this down. I'm going to line it up to the edge, fold to the edge, making sure the top is lined up. Burnish that. This one kind of goes offset like this, kind of centered of this one. Same thing. Glue on your 1/2 inch. And I'm thinking on this component here, I needed the heavier cardstock. This is Artisan, but I think maybe a 110 might have been better for that. But I didn't want to double it because it'd be hard to score. So I think, of course, we do put patterned paper on it. So that may help a whole lot when I'm folding it in. So maybe I'll just leave it alone. I thought maybe I would cut some cardstock to kind of triangle and buffer that. I'm just going to burnish it really well right there. Okay, I'm going to fold that. Okay, so these do flop down, so I'm going to be putting some magnets. I'm going to close this up, and we're going to do our closure piece, which is this one. That is your 3 by 4 scored at a 1/2 inch. So burnish that really well. And this is going to glue on the back bottom side right here in the center. So I'm going to open this up. I'm going to put glue on that 1/2 inch. And I want to center it. Put the fold on the bottom. Look at it and see if it's centered the way you want it. Burnish that. And there's some magnets going to go there. Burnish out that glue. Okay. That's the closure piece. I'm going to think it should have had another score line. So I'm going to take my scoring tool and I'm going to score right along the edge here in there to give a 1/16 of an inch score, extra score maybe, and fold that up. Okay, to help that lay down a little bit better. Okay, now we need the magnets. So let me grab those. I need one set. I'm going to use the large because I use up all my small ones anyway. So grab that. Okay, so one on the back of the flap. Give me at least 3/4 of an inch down, centered. Okay, so we do that. Attach your second magnet to the closure and close it up. Open this, pull this back, and let's put tape on the magnets to keep them in place. Okay, that closes up like that. Now we need something to hold these down. So I am thinking another magnet as long as it's away from these two. So let me grab, if I had small ones, I would use those, but I don't see any more. I'm going to have to restock up on magnets. These are the basic gray ones that you still can get at Country Craft Creations, but she's also carrying some called by Tonic that some of the other designers have already started using, and they say that they are a lot stronger. So I'm going to have to check those out as well. So I'm going to need to place me a supply order. I haven't done that in several months. Haven't been able to. Let's see. Put that one there. Pull the backing off. That's really sticky this time. And close these little flaps up. Open this up and secure some tape. Okay, so this is just a fun place for some of our magic to happen. And then that goes like that. So this will attach to our page, this whole piece like this. And so first we need to add pattern paper to that before we go ahead and attach this, and then we can add pattern paper to this. I think probably with it out of off the page, and I just need to decide what I want to do for all of that. For this background, I just chose this black and yellow stripe. I absolutely love it. It is the back side of the 8x8 of the little tag cut aparts, but I've already used some of the cut aparts on another sheet, so I'm okay with that. I just really wanted this color. So I've already patterned, glued this down. I've already patterned this component as well. I did add the, use the 8x8 size of the chocolate frogs and jelly beans. So this one is not double matted, so I just cut this one at 5 and just under 5 7/8 by just under 5 7/8 and touch that down. Then when you open it up, I patterned all the insides. So these flaps on the front and back, I used my colors in Commodore blue. I just think that's a really pretty color. So we use Commodore blue on all the mats in here. So you need 4 for these that are, I cut 3 3/4 by 4 1/2. So I did them front and back. So you might not need to do that if you don't want to, but I just think it looks cool to have it finished. Okay. So then for the closure piece, I cut 2 that are 2 3/4 by 3 1/4 and matted those down, and then I fussy cut out and then cut straight on the edge this from the 12 by 12 collection, this chocolate frog. I thought he's adorable on there. So I cut it straight on the ends to make it fit. Then here on the inside, this piece, I used the 12 by 12. I had a scrap of it left that worked, of the stripe. It is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Now these, I just cut like 1.5 inch squares and then laid the corners in here and then trimmed them to fit. So you make sure you're not covering any, you want it to still fold. So don't cover any of your score lines. So you have to do these in little triangle pieces, and I use scraps of the chess board paper for that because I wanted the black dot. It's okay that a little bit of the white or the cream is showing. So I did those 4 there. These are matted front and back with the blue, and this you need 2 that are 4 3/4 by 3 1/2 for this left one, and 2 that are 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. Is that right? 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 for this side. Then this one is cut at, and I used the 12 by 12 paper of the chocolate frogs. 5 7/8 by 5 7/8. I think I cut it. Yeah. And then here on the bottom, you just have to, I just folded it on one side and cut my corner and then matched the other side. So there's what that looks like, opened and then closed. And then I used the chocolate frog scraps here on the side, 7/8 of an inch wide by Can't get in there. By 5 7/8 tall to finish that out. And I did not pattern these little sections here in the back because underneath you can't really see that. So that's how you finish that up. So of course this just folds in and that closes it. And now we're going to glue it down on the page. So lots of glue back here on the back to really hold it on. I love how this turned out. It's a very different, unique pop-up. So this is going to line up here. And I think it was perfect for a Harry Potter or a magic book. And I centered it top to bottom, side to side. Get it as straight as I can. Press down. I'm going to open this up. Try to get in there so you can burnish right in here. You want to make sure it really, really sticks. Okay. Okay, so I think it's going to work. There we go. And that is the back of page set 3. So this is 3A and 3B. And we're ready to start on the last page.